Hello everyone, it's Richard here. Now, this week marks 20 years since the Doctor Who TV movie was first broadcast in the UK, so I thought I'd do a bit of a review of it. This is the first it's the first episode review I've done since my classic review series last summer, where I did one episode from each Doctor, and deliberately didn't do the TV movie for the 8th Doctor because I wanted to try out some big finish. So I don't think I've ever mentioned what I think about this story before on the channel, so it's going to be interesting. And I might as well get it out there from the start, really, that I'm not a massive fan of the TV movie. I know everybody says it's so great, it's underrated, it's so important, and I can see why it paved the way for all the New Who episodes, the revival in 2005. I can see how it helped that, and I'm thankful for the TV movie for enabling us to have all the Doctor Who we have now. But when you compare it to other Doctor episodes, when you put it in context, I'm really not a massive fan, and here's why. So as it's been made clear in the past, this was a pilot for a possible new TV series being made by the BBC and Fox, and obviously as a pilot it had lots to do, it had lots to introduce to new viewers, American viewers, regeneration, the Eye of Harmony, the Master, the Doctor, a new companion to introduce as well, so it had a lot to do, and I think maybe that's why I don't like it as a Doctor Who story, because as a standalone adventure, it's alright, it's entertaining, and it's fun to watch, I enjoy watching it, but when you compare it to other Doctor Who episodes, when you put it in context and compare it to the greats, it doesn't follow the same formula, that makes a Doctor Who episode, really. It's a completely different format, it's an hour and a half TV movie, and you've got all these new characters to introduce, and it's quite unusual for Doctor Who to not have a monster, and here we've got the Master, and he's a bit different from how I've seen him before. He's a kind of snake creature thing, but there's no actual alien apart from the Doctor and the Master, and it just feels like there's something missing. It doesn't feel like Doctor Who to me, which is, it's weird, because it does bridge the classic and new series. I think it's just because it had the job of introducing all these new viewers, and it was an American co-production. It's not quite what I expect from a Doctor episode, and I think that's maybe why I don't like it too much. Now, obviously, Paul McGann is in the title role. This is his debut and only full Doctor Who adventure on TV, and he does a good job. He's a good actor, and he gives an entertaining performance. He's not my favourite Doctor, because I tend not to like the kind of soppy romantic ones. When he kisses Grace, it doesn't make much sense in terms of the plot, and they kind of have this love-hate relationship. One minute she's kissing him, the next she's like running off and saying, "Oh, you're an alien freak." So that's a bit weird. I've not listened to all of McGann's other stuff in Big Finish, I will be honest, but from this, he's not my favourite Doctor, but he does give a entertaining performance. We've got Eric Roberts as the Master. Now, is his Master underrated? Yes and no. He just get a lot of slack from the fandom, and his portrayal is alright, it's good, but there are kind of two main problems, really, from the way I see it. I mean, number one is that he doesn't get an awful lot of screen time, and when he does, it's mostly with Chang Li. There's kind of two subplots. There's the Doctor and Grace, and the Doctor, suffering from his post-generative trauma, and then there's the Master getting his new body, and kind of getting Chang Li as his sort of companion, and trying to find the Doctor. And one thing I did notice this time around watching, actually, now that I've seen a lot more Delgado with Pertwee, and we've obviously got Sim and Gomez playing the Master in New Who, and with all the other Masters, he's not so one-dimensional. He's not the villain. There's this kind of friend and enemy relationship between him and the Doctor. But in this story, I think the Eric Roberts Master is quite one-dimensionally. He's just a villain, and he wants to get his own way, and he's quite violent, and if he doesn't get his own way, he gets angry. And there's not much of a hint to his past with the Doctor, his relationship with the Doctor, and that's something that makes the Master such an interesting character. So obviously, for that to be missing here, that they're missing a trick, and that's not what the Master's meant to be about. When I say this is not a very conventional Doctor Who story, I think the Master fits into that as well. He's not a conventional Master, so I do feel maybe that he's not as bad as people make out he is, but at the same time, he's really not the greatest Master. He's just so one-dimensional, And it's just such a shame that we don't get to see him interact with the Doctor as much, and we don't expand on the mythology of the two characters any further. We also have Daphne Ashbrook as Grace Holloway, and Grace is she's a good companion. She's kind of the first companion to have a proper life, a family, and she has a boyfriend, and she lives in contemporary modern day America, and she has a job as well, and we hadn't really seen that much in Doctor Who before, in the classic series. We had the odd thing like Tegan's aunt or Ace's friends back in her hometown in Survival, but this is the kind of bit where it paves the way for the future companions. It's when they were starting to be written like real people, relatable people. Having said that though, I don't really relate to an opera-loving surgeon, and she's definitely not the best companion. There are some kind of bits, like I mentioned before, when she's kissing the Doctor and then she hates him the next minute, and oh, you're such a freak, you've got two hearts, and it's kind of this weird on and off relationship. And she also seems to kind of get to grips with the TARDIS really quickly, I mean, there's that bit where the motorcyclist goes in and then comes straight out, and from that I guess she kind of gathers that the TARDIS must be bigger on the inside, but when she actually walks in, she just kind of gets to grips with it really quickly. She doesn't question how it can be like this. She just takes the Doctor's word for gospel, really, which is something I didn't really like much. It's nice to have that kind of big on the inside moment, and for the companion to learn from the Doctor and ask him questions rather than just kind of taking it all in. And so Grace is an alright companion, but definitely not the best. Now, much like the rest of the story and the different elements I've talked about and the characters, the plot is not very conventional for a Doctor Who story. We kind of spend our first half hour establishing the new Doctor and the new Master, and then obviously the new companion as well. And what I do feel, I do feel that the kind of plot towards the end, the resolution, it's kind of a bit Deus Ex Machina, and it's not very clear what's going on with that massive Millennium Clock or whatever it is, and then the Eye of Harmony, and then he opens it up, he closes it, Grace is dead, then Grace comes back to life. It's a bit dodgy, and it doesn't follow the usual format of 25-minute episodes or 45-minute episodes, and it is quite long compared to classic episodes and new episodes as well from New Who. I don't know, it's just something about the plot. I mean, it does the job, and it's quite exciting, and there is a bit of tension, but I just don't think it's made clear what's going on enough for the resolution to be fully appreciated by the viewer. But having said that, though, like I say, it does do the job. The TV movie as a whole does the job of introducing new viewers to all these different aspects, to these new characters. And is it a shame that we didn't get the full series afterwards? Well, I was reading in Doctor Who magazine the other month that it was very unlikely that a full series would follow on from this pilot. When the cast and crew were assembling to do it, they weren't anticipating coming back. And personally, I don't really think it could have worked, with this American setting. I don't think that could have worked all the time for a British show. I just think that would be too far from what Doctor Who initially started off as, and it is today, And just think if it had gone off in that direction in the 90s. So in a way, I am quite glad that more episodes didn't follow on. And when you read online all the stuff about how they're going to try and remake old stories as well, it does kind of sound like they're going to go into dangerous territory and start to change the show a bit too much, change what the show fundamentally is, and all that stuff about the Doctor being brothers with the Master and then finding their father or whatever happens, I don't know. But it's all on the web for you to see if you want to have a look at what could have happened if the show continued. So yeah, I am quite glad that it didn't lead on to a further series, because obviously we got all the stuff today, which I think is better, But I do respect the TV movie, as a story, as a standalone story, it's entertaining. It does the job, and if you just want something to wind down to watch, to relax to, it's a great episode to watch. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate the story. It's just that as a conventional Doctor episode, it doesn't do the job for me, I'm afraid, and it's not one of my favourites, which is a shame. But I don't think there's anything that could be done about that. So that's just the way it is, really. So thank you for watching my review of the TV movie. Please like and share the video and comment below your opinions on the movie. I'd love to hear what you think, if you agree with me or disagree with me. I have got another kind of 4 weeks now of exams up to the end of June, so I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be able to get out, but I will try and get videos out if I can, when I can, because it's something I enjoy doing. So anyway, I'll see you when I see you, I guess. So thanks for watching, and bye for now.